Yo, what is going on, guys? So, real quick video, I wanted to show you what is, in my opinion, the best shed defense in all of Madden 20. Now, a lot of people like over G, a lot of people like 236 is a good shed defense. Probably, I think the second best is 236. And then you have this formation, which nobody uses. And this is going to be the 3-4 over ed formation out of the Jets playbook. And you can do a couple different plays with this, and there is a subtle little difference between them, right? So your covered 3 sky, let me go to the actual play screen and show you. Basically, the defensive ends on this are key. If you look at the difference between cover 3 sky and cover 1 hole, you see the difference by the two defensive ends. In cover 3 sky, they kind of have an outward rush angle, whereas on cover 1 hole, they are rushing straight down. You don't want them rushing straight down. So that eliminates your ability to run cover 1 hole, cover 2 man, cover 4 quarters, all of those. Basically, you're going to have 4 plays that you can run. You can run cover 3 sky, you can run outside linebacker fireman, you can run cover 3 cloud, and you can run safety blitz. Just for the sake of the video, though, I'm going to show you this out of cover 3 sky. Now, just to go ahead and get this out of the way, ideally, you have 2 edge threats because those are the abilities that trigger the crazy instant sack animations. The Finesse Specialist that we have over here by Bosa will trigger sheds, but he's not going to trigger the basically rip move where he just gets the outside shoulder, rips past him, and sacks a quarterback in the blink of an eye. That's not what you're going to see from Bosa. But you will see that from D Ford because he has the edge threat ability, and that's what we're going to be triggering. So for those of you that saw any of my stuff on the website, basically I loved the Power Specialist ability. Power Specialist. Because we were able to just basically push the center over. Just 100% of the time, you know, unless you double teamed him, we could just push the center directly over. Basically created like an old school type of nano. Whereas this defense is going to be different in the sense that we're going to be abusing the guards. There's a lot of people online that are utilizing center abilities for mainly one reason, and that's Zan's channel. Zan's been pushing the center abilities, and they do work for that purpose, right? They work to stop the center from getting pushed over. He runs an under center offense. It is needed in an under center offense to be able to do that, because if you get that pressure directly up the middle against under center, it's a wrap. There's nothing you can do. Whereas opposed to shotgun, it still helps, but it's not as needed, right? But here nor there, let's go ahead and talk about this. We're going to be triggering the edge threat ability. We're going to do one thing, and that is to shift our defensive line to the left. That's all I did. Now, you can spy one of these 2 defensive tackles if you want. You can leave them rushing. It doesn't really matter. But as you see right here, that's the animation you're going to get. Now, are you going to get it every single rip? No. Are you going to get it more times than not? Yes. Let's go ahead and just walk you through this instant replay. So, basically, what will happen is with the edge threat ability, they're going to get this outside rushing animation, right? So as long as he gets that outside rush to where he gets the outside shoulder, he's simply going to swim right past him. And that's going to happen over and over again. Now you can see on this left-hand side, I don't get the same animation. And that's because I've got Finesse Specialist. So Finesse Specialist is trying to trigger the spin move or, swim move or the rip. And they kind of just don't really animate. It's the worst of the pass rush abilities while still being a pass rush ability. In Reg's purpose, that's what you have, right? You have this as your second best option. So that's what I wanted to go ahead and showcase this with. I didn't want to showcase this with basically a mutt team. But as you saw, this is the animation you're going to be triggering with the edge threat. Now, if you are playing mutt and you have the edge threat ability to both sides, you can imagine how impossible it's going to be to get the ball off when you get that animation on both the right and the left-hand side. Basically, what it means is if they don't cut block you, they're going to be sacked. Now, let's go ahead and do it again. So we're going to go ahead, simply shift our defensive line to the left, hike the ball. Now this time, you see that you can get the power specialist type of animation on this left-hand side. The Finesse Specialist is a much less consistent version of Power Specialist in the sense that you will sometimes get that animation right there, you'll sometimes get the spin animation, you'll sometimes get the rip animation. It's just not very consistent, whereas the other ones are. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again. See right here, boom, you got the rip, basically an instant sack to the right. And this is just extremely, extremely consistent. And it's all because you're getting the isolation blocks. And as you can see, ISO block to the left, he gets that instant swim animation to where he gets spun around like he's facing Dwight Freeney. And then you've got the edge threat triggering on this other side where he just rips and comes in right in. So if you get these type of animations and you're going to get them consistently with these abilities, what are you supposed to do offensively? I don't have an answer for that. As a passer, like, you have to cut block and roll out of the pocket. If you don't roll out of the pocket and cut block one of these two ends, you've got no shot against this. And like I said, this is with no adjustments. Like, you're rushing, technically you can rush 3 people. You can spy either of these 2 defensive tackles. If you're shifting to the left like this, I would probably spy the defensive tackle on the right, just FYI. But, I mean, as you can see, what do you do? Like, as an honest question, how do you pass the ball against this when this happens? And as you see, this happens consistently to where edge threat will trigger, boom, right around, swim move right around. And then on this left-hand side, he's just getting pushed to the ground, he's getting spun. If you are playing Mutt and he has the combination of the edge threat and the pass rush abilities, like if he has edge threat, power, or pass rush elite, edge threat elite, he's going to be triggering either the animation to the right or the animation to the left pretty much every rep. And you're going to have it to both sides. I mean, not much really else for me to show in this video. The only other thing I wanted to talk about is you can trigger this in a different way if you are rocking 3 abilities. So for those of you that are playing Mutt, if you wanted to, you can shift your defensive line to the right, and what's going to happen is you're going to get the isolation block here, the isolation block here by the ends, basically both ends and this right defensive tackle. Now, in regs, there's no team with 3 abilities, so it's not necessarily needed as much. However, you can dominate in Mutt with 3 defensive line abilities by also putting this defensive lineman right here as a guy that has pass rush elite or power specialist. Because as we hike the ball, you see we got the typical pressure off that right hand side, but I'm just going to show you how that would work if you had the ability. You see over here, isolation block, you have isolation block right here to the guard. So for those of you familiar with power specialists where they just push the guy over, you can imagine trying to deal with both of the edges coming in free and then your right guard just getting pushed directly over. And this is how it's going to look every rep. Like, if they don't line shift and slide and ID and all that stuff, a stock blocking assignment, even if they block the running back, it's going to block exactly like this, to where both ends are ISO'd and the right guard is ISO'd on the defensive tackle on the right. So that's basically it. Nothing real crazy in terms of setup. I mean, all you're doing is shifting your defensive line, but if you have that edge threat ability, it's a wrap. I mean, it really is going to be an absolute nightmare for your opponent to try to pass the ball against you. And you're in a 3-4 set that by default does a pretty solid job against the run. So I'm going to keep labbing this up. I'm going to get some blitzes out of this set. I'm going to figure out the best way to stop the run out of this set, and this will be my new base defense.